What's up, guys? It's your bro, Rich here again. Today in this video, I am now going to be talking to you all about the next uh, sports slash muscle car in the. So today I'm going to be talking to you all about another one of the excuse me, another one of the greatest American sports slash muscle cars in the whole world. Today in this video, I'll be talking to y'all about the mighty Chevy Corvette. So this is another Chevy that I've wanted to do for quite a while now. It took me forever to do the Camaros. Now, however, I'm going to be doing the Corvettes. So every version of the Corvette I'll be doing today. So I'm not gonna do all of them like in one video, just because it's just gonna take forever. So I'm gonna do it like one part by one part at least. So that's just gonna be pretty cool. All right. So before I get started, make sure you all like the video, subscribe, comment down below what you guys think, hit the notification bell, and hit all so you literally don't want to make brand new uploads. Okay. So without any further ado, let's begin. So the Chevy Corvette. Here we go. So the Corvette's a line of American two-door, two-seater sports cars. Well, one of them's a supercar, hence the C8. And some of them, like the C4, is kind of named after an explosive device. It's kind of odd, but oh well. So the Corvette's a line of American two-door, two-seat sports cars, both manufactured and marketed by General Motors or GM under the Chevy so both manufactured and marketed by GM under the Chevy marquee since 1953. Throughout 8 generations, indicated sequely as C1, the first one, to the latest one, the C8. So as C1 to C8, the Corvette's noted for its performance. So the Corvette's noted for its performance, distinctive styling. So distinctive styling, lightweight fiber can't even talk lightweight fiberglass and composite bodywork. So lightweight fiberglass or composite bodywork and competitive pricing. The Corvette has had domestic mass-produced two-seater competitors filled by American Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. Oh God. You kidding me now? I just said Chrysler. Why can't they just get rid of Chrysler these days? Come on. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, fielded by American Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, it's the only one continuously produced by a U.S. auto manufacturer. It serves as Chevy's halo car. All right, overviews next, so let's do it. I'll do the next part after this. So manufacturer is obviously by Chevy and GM, General Motors. Production was from 1953 to onwards. Model years was from 1953 to 1982, and then from 1984 onwards. So 1984 and onwards. So we got the first one from 1953 to 1962. So from 53 to 62, the C1, the 63 or 67, so 1963 to 1967, C2. Then we got the 1968 or just 68 and 82, 1982, C3. Then we got the mighty 84 and 96, so 1980. 1984, so 1984 to 1996, C4. Then we got, so 1984 to 1996, C4. Then we got the 97 to 04 or 1997, 1997 to 2004. So 84 to 96 to C4, 97 to 04. So from 82 to 96 is the C4, named after an explosive. 97 to 04, the C5. Then we got from 05 to 2013, the mighty C6 from 2014 to 2019, my dream Corvette, the C7, and last but certainly not the very least, the latest model, the 2020 and onwards C8. And this was more of a supercar than the muscle car. The first 7 gens were muscle cars, whereas the C8 was more of like a muscle supercar. And a muscle car V8, well, sounded it was a, I think it was a flat plane V8 or a cross plane. Cause it sounded like a racing V8, not like a Ferrari, but something, or maybe a McLaren. I don't know. But the rest of them just had that kind of American V8 grumble to it, whereas the C8 kind of had this kind of Euro V8 magic into it. Anyways, say 2020 and onwards, or present or future, as I call it, a C8. Assemblies are assembly is at for 1953. So for like the first one was assembled in Flint. So it was assembled in the city of Flint in in Genesee or Genesee. I can't even pronounce. How the heck do you pronounce his name? Like I said, some U.S. cities have like weird names to pronounce. So Flint, Genesee. So in Flint, it's the largest city of Flint. So Flint, Genesee County, Michigan. What else says that? That was for 1953. Then for 54 to 81 was that St. Louis. So the independent city of St. Louis, Missouri. That was for 54 to 81. And then from 81 to onwards was Bowling Green in Warren. So Bowling Green, so it's in the city of Bowling Green, Warren County. So Warren County, Kentucky. And it's also the county seat as well. So that was for 81 to present. Body and chassis next. The class is obviously a sports car, part of the S segment. Body style, 2 types you can choose from is either a 2-door convertible. So they're both 2 doors, either a coupe or a convertible slash roadster. Layout is front engine, rear-wheel drive. And they even have the front engine. So the front. They even had the front engine, well, also mid-engine. So FMR, so front mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout. Those for 1953 to 2019. Then we got a rear mid-engine rear-wheel drive layout, so RMR layout for 2020 and onwards. So so the Chevy Corvette's a line of American 2-door, 2-seat sports cars manufactured and marketed by GM under the Chevy marquee since 1950. So the Corvette's a line of American 2-door, 2-seat sports cars, both manufactured and marketed by GM under the Chevy marquee since 1953. Throughout 8 generations, indicated sequentially, sequentially as C1 to C8. The Corvette's noted for its performance, distinctive styling, lightweight fiberglass or composite bodywork, and competitive pricing. The Corvette has had domestic mass-produced 2-seat competitors fielded by American Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. It's the only one continuously produced by U.S. auto manufacturer, so by U.S. car manufacturer. It serves as Chevy's halo car. In 1953, GM executives accepted a suggestion by Myron Scott. So Myron E. Scott, born September 16th, 1907, passed, so born September 16th, 1907, passed away October 4th, 1998, and he was the creator of the All-American Soapbox Derby. He's also credited with naming Chevy sports car, the Corvette. So he was born in Camden, Ohio. After school hours, he worked for the Dayton Daily News and learned photography and had pictures published in Life magazine and other publications. So in Camden, in the village of Camden, Preble County, Ohio. So population was not that good. It was 1,989 people during the 2020 census. It was quite a small amount of people there. I feel like that's like the least amount of people that anywhere in the world has, or in any state. Literally, over 1,900 people in Camden, Ohio. Insane. So he was born in Camden, Ohio. After school hours, he worked for the Dayton Daily News, or DDN, Dayton Daily News, and learned photography and had pictures published in Life magazine and other publications as well. In 1933, as chief photographer for the Dayton Daily News, or DDN, he came across a few boys racing one another down a hill in vehicles made of both orange crates and soap boxes, with the intention of getting a good photo story and local race with prizes. He persuaded the boys to return with more racers and soapbox cars. he was Scott was so Myron was so enthusiastic with the whole concept that he acquired his copyright. The national scale soapbox derby grew out of this idea. In 1934, he managed to persuade 50 cities across the U.S. So 50 cities across the U.S., or states. To persuade 50 cities, 50 states across the U.S. to hold soapbox car races and send a so soapbox car races and send a champion each to Dayton for a major race, a proposal that Chevy subsequently sponsored in 1935. So in 1935, the race was later held at Talmadge in Talmadge. I can't pronounce it, but it's spelled Talmade. Not E, sorry. It's spelled Tal. So it's spelled Talmade Hill in Akron, or in the city of Akron, Summit County, Ohio. So Summit County, Ohio. He later went on to work for Chevy, where he named the Corvette. Chevy wanted a non-animal name starting with C for the sports car in 1953, and Scott chose the name of a fast ship, the Corvette. So he chose the name of a fast ship, the Corvette. For those who don't know what that is, well, it's obviously also named after a car, but it's a bit more than that. It's a small warship. It's traditionally the smallest class of vessel considered to be a proper or rated warship. The warship class above the Corvette is that of the frigates, while the class below was historically that of the sloop of war. So proper or rated warship, so it's like the rating system of the Royal Navy, technically. So the warship class above the corvettes that of the frigate, while the class below was historically that of the sloop of war. And frigates, for those who don't know what that is, it's a type of warship. In different eras, both the roles and capabilities of ships classified as frigates have varied. The name frigate in the 17th to early 18th centuries was given to any full rigid ship, so any full rigid ship built for both speed and maneuverability, intended to be used in scouting, escorts, and patrol roles, so like patrolling roles. The term was applied loosely to ships varying greatly in design. In the second quarter of the 18th century, what's now generally regarded as the true frigate was developed in France. This type of vessel was characterized by possessing only one armed deck, with an unarmed deck below it used for berthing the crew. Late in the 19th century, for British and French prototypes that were constructed in 1858, a type of powerful ironclad warships was developed, and because they had a single gun deck, the term frigate was used to describe them. Later developments in ironclad ships rendered the frigate designation obsolete, and the term fell out of favor. During World War II, the name frigate was reintroduced to describe to desc- so during World War II, the name frigate was reintroduced to describe a seagoing escort ship that was intermediate in size between a corvette and a destroyer. After World War II, a wide variety of ships have been classified as frigates, and the reasons for such classification have not been consistent yet. While some navies have used the word frigate principally for large ocean-going ASW, so anti-submarine warfare or ASW competence, others have used the term to describe ships that are otherwise recognizable as corvettes, destroyers, and even nuclear-powered guided missile cruisers. Some 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 Euro so Some European navies use the term for ships that would formerly have been called destroyers, destroyers, as well as for frigates. The rank frigate captain derives from the name of this type of ship. Anyways, so it serves as Chevy's Halo car. So we're back on a Corvette. So in 1950, in 1953, In 1953, GM executives. So in 1953, GM executives accepted. So GM executives accepted um, a suggestion, a suggestion by Myron Scott, then the assistant director of the public relations or PR department, so public relations department, to name the company's new sports car after the Corvette, a small maneuverable warship. Initially a, re- Initially a relatively modest, lightweight inline six convertible, subsequent intros of V8s, competitive chassis innovations, and rear mid-engine layouts have gradually moved the Corvette upmarket, into the supercar class. In 1953, the Gen 2, the Gen 2 was the Gen 2 was introduced in both coupe and convertible styles. The first three Corvette generations from 53 to 83, so Gen 1, 2, and 3, employed body on frame construction. And since the Gen 4 introduced in 1983 as an early 1984 model, Corvettes have used GM's unibody Y-body platform. All Corvettes used front mid-engine configuration for all 7 generations. Um, from the C1 to C7, throughout 2019, and transitioned to a rear mid-engine layout with the C8. So with the C8, Initially manufactured in Flint, Michigan, and St. Louis, Missouri, the Corvette's been produced in Bowling Green, Kentucky, since 1981, which is also the location of the NCM, uh, National Corvette Museum. So National Corvette Museum. The Corvette has the Cor the Corvette has been the Corvette has been widely known as America's sports car. Some would call it America's Porsche 911 or something. Anyways, the Corvette's been widely known as America's sports car. Automotive News wrote that after being featured in the early 60s TV show Route 66 or Route 66, the Corvette became synonymous with both freedom and adventure, ultimately becoming both the most successful concept car in history and the most popular sports car in history. Speaking of history, we're on that part right now. So, starting off with the first one is the Gen 1 Corvette, the C1 from 1953 to 1962. The Gen 1 Corvette was introduced late in the late in the 53 model year, so 1953 model year, appearing as appearing as a show car for the 1953 GM Motorama from January 17th to January 23rd. So that's for 6 days only, so like less than a full week. At New York's Waldorf Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, in New York. At the time, Chevy general manager Thomas H. Keating said it was 6 months, so like half a year to a year away from production readiness. The car generated sufficient interest sufficient interest for mass production to begin on to start on June 30th, 1953. So June 30th, 1953. Uniquely, um, the original, the original Corvette, um, used fiberglass bodywork. Its reinforcements placed by hand. This generation was often referred to as the solid axle models, with independent rear suspension appearing in the next 300 handcrafted uh, convertibles were produced, all polo whites for the 53 model year. The 53 model year. The 50 the 54 model year cars could be ordered in pennant blue, sportsman sportsman red, so red, black, or polo white. 3640 were manufactured. The 53, 54, and 55 model years excuse me, the 53, 54, and 55 model years were the only Corvettes equipped with the 3.9 liter uh so with the 3.9 liter 235 version of the Gen 2 blue frame inline 6 or straight 6 rated at 150 horsepower. The 55 model year, so the 55 model offered a 4.34 liter, so 4.34 liter, 265, well, 4.3 liter technically, 265, so 4.3 liter, 265 V8 as V8 as an option. Is a V8 as an option. The new V8 improved 0 to 60 acceleration, 0 to 60 acceleration by the new V8 improved 0 to 60 acceleration by 3 seconds. With a large inventory of unsold 54 models, uh, GM limited production, limited production to just 700 units for 1955. Despite the poor sales of the Corvette at the time, the V8 was a popular option, with an estimated 6 cars produced with the straight 6. 3 new competitors, the Ford Thunderbird, Studebaker Speedster, and the larger Chrysler C300 were introduced that same year. A new body was introduced for the 56 model year. So for the 56 model, featuring a revised front end, so with a revised front end and side coves, the taillight fins were also gone, so deleted. An optional ram, an optional ramjet fuel injection system was made available midway through the 57 model year. It's one of the first American mass-produced engines in history to reach one horsepower 1 horsepower per cubic inch, and Chevy's advertising agency used a 1 horsepower per cubic inch slogan for advertising the 283 horsepower 4.64 liter 283 small block V8. Other options include power windows and power windows, hydraulically assisted convertible top, both of them from 1956, and heavy duty brakes and suspension, and a 4-speed manual, both from 1957. Well, the 4-speed was from late 57, but oh well. Delco radio, transistorized signal-seeking hybrid car radio, which used both vacuum tubes and transistors in its radio's circuitry, which is a 1956 option. The 58 Corvette, the 58 Corvette, uh, the 58 Corvette received a body and interior revisions, including a longer front end with quad headlights, bumper exiting exhaust tips or exhaust pipes. It's like when they go exit out of the bumper. So a bumper exiting exhaust tips, revised steering wheel, and a dashboard with all gauges mounted directly in front of the driver. For 1958 only were the 58 hood louvers and twin trunk speakers. I wonder how they not speakers, sorry, twin trunk speakers. There we go. Sorry, I said speakers. I'm wondering how the heck did they get speakers back in 1958? They did not. Anyways, so for 1958, only were 58 hood louvers and twin trunk spears. There we go. It's not the spears, but they used in during wars or something. I got no clue. Anyways, the 59-60 model years. So the 1960 model years had few changes, except a decreased excuse me, both a decreased amount of body chrome, so decreased amount of chrome, and more powerful engine offerings. In 1961, during the early 60s, after the end of the late 50s, so in 1961, during the early 60s, the rear of the car was completely redesigned with the addition of a tapered tail with 4 round lights, so 4 round taillights. Light treatment would continue for all following model year Corvettes until 2014 with the 7th generation, aka the C7 Corvette. In 1962, the Chevy 283, so the four in 1962, in 1962, the 4.64 liter Chevy 283 small block V8 was enlarged to a 5.36 liter, so from a 4.6 technically to a 5.3 liter 327 V8. In standard form, it was rated it was rated at 250 horsepower. It's not bad. 250 horsepower. It's pretty. 250 horsepower for 1962. That was pretty fast at that time. Pretty powerful, if you ask me. So in standard form, it was rated at 250 horsepower. For an additional 12% over list price. The fuel injected version, however, produced an extra 110 horsepower more. So it went from 250 to a monstrous 360 horsepower. So 110 more than the 5.36 liter than the standard one, just without the fuel injection system. So for an additional 12% over list price, the fuel injected version produced 360 horsepower, making it the fastest of the C1 generation. 360 horsepower, that's pretty damn good. Not bad for a C1 Corvette. That's a lot. That's a lot of power. So 360 horsepower, making it the fastest of the C1 gen. 1962 1962 was also the last year for the wraparound windshield or windscreen, solid rear axle, and convertible only body style. Last part, and I'll end it there for now. Both the trunk lid and or boot lid and exposed exposed headlights did not reappear for many decades. Okay, so that'll be it for now. Or for today, I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. So for my next Corvette video, will be about the Gen 2, aka the C2 Corvette from 1963. So 1963 to 19 so from 1963 to 1967. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Okay, so if you guys like this video, like and subscribe. Say like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys think. Hit the notification bell and hit all. So you're alerted of when I make brand new uploads. All right. So that be it. So I'll see you guys soon in the next video. But until then, stay safe, have a great evening, and have a great day tomorrow morning. And I'll see you guys soon in the next video. So take care, folks. Stay safe out there. I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.